Hey everybody, John here. So it's the end of my season here at the park, and I wanted to do a quick follow up review on the boots that I wore during the course of this season. I started out this year with this pair of Belleville 300 TROP STs, and I think that what that translates into is it's a tropical boot. Let me turn out the light here for a minute. Is that any better? Yeah, I think it is. It's a tropical boot, so it's got the nylon upper. It's got, I mean, basically it's the same style of construction as you'd run into with one of the old Vietnam style boots, except this part is a little wider. It's got a steel toe and the non-Panama sole. Now, as far as fit and functionality, it's heavier than the other boot I'm going to show you in a minute, which is my Altama. This boot is a lot heavier. I mean, you can see the sole is a lot thicker. As far as the heel cup, what I would describe as this area, there's some slop here. And by that I mean this boot almost feels like if it wasn't completely laced up, that I could step out of it. As opposed to the Altama, which I often wear right like this. And we'll come back to that in a minute. So, the Belleville boot, it's good quality leather. I mean, I wore this boot every day for the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks here, and I like this boot. If I was going to make an improvement on this boot, what I would have would be the channel here and the lug up here so that you could put the bail for a foot fang or a snowshoe or something like that. And I think a snowshoe is more appropriate because, I mean, being that this is a warm weather boot, you're probably not going to be doing any ice stuff with this. But if you had the ability to put this on a snowshoe, maybe that would give you the ability to go into a marshy area and be walking around on the grass with that snowshoe. I don't know, but I just looked at this like that's one thing that's missing on a otherwise pretty good boot. I give this boot a 9.8. Now, on the downside, I did have to go with a Dr. Scholl's insert to make it really enjoyable. But this boot gets a 9.8. This thing, however, and I think you can tell by the creases in its face that this old puppy has been with me every day since I got it. I love this boot. Okay, there's no slop in the heel cup. In fact, as I said earlier, I wear this boot a lot of times like this because the way it comes off in this configuration is more like a sandal. I mean, it's a lot lighter than the Belleville over there, and so I can put this boot on and take this boot off in a matter of seconds, and don't have to get involved in these speed laces, although they're there as an option when I need to actually lace them up. Now, the one thing I'll tell you that makes this boot a little different than that boot is straight out of the box, there's no insert in this. Okay, I didn't have to go with the Dr. Scholl's option because this boot is damn comfortable right out of the box. Only one day did this boot fail me, and that was when I was working as a parking lot attendant here for a car show, and I was on my feet for just over 9 hours straight. And at the end of those 9 hours, my dogs were barking, as we used to say. Now, I can't really think of any improvements I would make to this boot. This boot is a time honored configuration that goes back to the Vietnam War. Obviously, it's an update as it's got nylon instead of canvas, and the strapping here is a little wider, and it's got padding. This is the Altama PX 10.5 jungle boot, and this one rings in at about $150 or $160. The more traditional style Vietnam style boot with the canvas, I can't remember what the model number for that is, but that one's a little cheaper. I think around $75. If I came back next year, I would get one of those pair to see how they measure up against these. But I love this boot. I wear this boot all the time. The funny thing is, in my 57 years, I've worn a lot of shoes, and I went to private school for a while and had to wear a lot of dress shoes and stuff. And this boot feels like a really good pair of dress shoes with the way it just holds my foot. So there's that. Now on the downside, there is no steel toe on this. So if you need a steel toe, I would go with the Belleville. But if you're just interested in comfort, this is a shoe for you, or at least it was for me. Now the funny thing is, I love the Bellevilles. I gave them a 9.8, but this boot I'm giving a 9.9. I'm not sure that a 10 exists, but if it does, I'm going to keep searching. When I get back to where I live, I'm going to dig out my other 2 pairs of boots, and we're going to have a great grand boot review. So look forward to that. Anyway, that's all I got for you. John out.